Thanks, Sonia. Hi, everyone. I'm Valentina. And no, I'm not. My girlfriend would be very pissed if that was the case. Anyways, this is gonna be different if you've seen me in other shows before. So today, to start off, I like to say, well, first, lower your standards. Second, so in the winter holidays a couple of years ago, I was going through a hard time. So I made today's bit a bit more kind of like PSA, public service announcement for those that need help in case you're going through rough times this Christmas season. That being said, let's start. So during COVID, one thing that surprised me was how much we now care about mental health. I feel like before COVID, no one really cared about mental health. Even depending where you come from, it could have been taboo in your country, or even here in Germany. Like maybe you went to your doctor and the doctor was like, you don't need therapy, just go drink some tea or whatever. And nowadays, like mental health is a thing, which by the way, like let's get something clear, because I feel people keep saying, during the pandemic, before the pandemic, look, I had COVID 2 weeks ago. This is the pandemic. That shit's not over yet. But anyways, thanks to COVID, now mental health is prioritized in our society. And I come from Venezuela in South America, and this to me was a big surprise. Like when you come from Latin America, there's no such thing as mental health there. Like depression doesn't even exist. For some context, if you're not catching up on this, like Venezuela is like going through this like little crisis right now, like people are dying, like there's hunger. So, we don't have time to be depressed. Like, what we do? We go to the beach, we party, we want to forget our suffering, so we don't give a fuck about mental health. I never had to worry about mental health in a dictatorship, and then I fucking moved here, and somehow that became the priority. Yeah, so, it's really fucked up, because when I think about things back home, it's like we have this really weird way of coping with horrible things. Like we have this really strange sense of humor where we make fun of our misery. And it's so fucked up, and this is an actual fact, it's so fucked up that we're in this dictatorship since 2001. So almost like now over 20 years. And Venezuela was actually the happiest place in South America in 2012. Like we're in the world record book of being the happiest country in South America in 2012. That's how fucked up we are. And I did my research because I was like thinking, shit, that's messed up. So there must be a reason behind. So then I started thinking and looking at where this came from. And I realized it all came down to one thing. And it's the way we live life. Like we have this saying back home, we laugh not to cry. And we apply that on a daily basis. So if something bad happens to you, you laugh it off. You make fun of it. You're like, haha, this happened again. So in my eyes, I feel like no matter how much we suffer, usually Venezuelans are very fun, happy-go-lucky people. Or as my therapist likes to say it, we're borderline psychopaths that use humor as a defense mechanism. But those are just her words. She has her own opinion. Anyways, I've been living in Germany since 2018, and now I get the privilege of having first world problems, which includes depression. So, yeah, am I lucky or what? So, COVID starts, we're all locked up, right? No gym, no clubs, blah, blah. And I start feeling depressed. And I know for a fact, I was always depressed. But I was at the beach, blah, 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 in the dictatorship. I moved here, was traveling all the time. I didn't have time to understand that I was depressed. So COVID came, it was Christmas 2020, and I kind of hit a critical point. I was like, oh shit, I think I want to kill myself. That does not sound okay. So I said, okay, I gotta get some help. So I did what any Venezuelan or even South American would have done. I picked up the phone and called my astrologist. So I called my astrologist, and she read my birth chart, did the analysis. I know now that my rising sign is a Leo, which makes total sense. I mean, look at me, I'm like a fucking total Leo. Right? Thank God I'm not a Scorpio or Gemini. We don't like that shit. And who said that? We'll get to you later. No, but in all seriousness, so after I called my astrologist, I said, I need some professional help. So I called my therapist. And yes, I do. No, I called home. You have money, you get service. It's different system. Yeah. Anyways, I called my therapist, and I knew from the moment I heard her voice, she said 3 sentences, and I just felt full of hope, and I knew things would change. You see, the thing is, when you're paying $80 an hour, that helps you get past shit really fucking fast. So I was like, yes, I'm gonna fucking get better. So I started my very expensive therapy sessions. And in therapy, it's usually like they try to get to know you. So my therapist, anyways, I don't know how many sessions passed. And at one point, she's like, okay, tell me about your life before COVID. And I was like, man, my life was amazing before COVID. Was partying, all that shit, but now COVID's here, so everything's closed. She's like, okay, can you tell me, have you suffered of substance abuse? Do you use drugs? And the thing is, I'm very honest. So I was like, yeah, I just can't do that shit anymore, the clubs are closed. And my therapist, I swear to God, side note, the biggest challenge I had going to therapy was trying to be serious during therapy. But then I kept reminding myself how much I paid for this shit, and I was like, shut up. Shut up. Whenever I wanted to say a joke, I was like, shut up. But every now and then, I just said, you know what? I can afford to pay more just to make her laugh. That bitch never even smiled. Anyway, so she's like, yeah, substance abuse, blah, blah. And I'm like, yes. And she's like, okay. And then literally she goes puts her glasses down, takes out her little notebook, and it's like, not even a grain. She's like, tell me more about this period in your life. How did you feel? What was it like? And I'm thinking, okay, should I be serious about this? I was like, no. So I was like, well, it was 2019. I was living my best fucking life, traveling all over the place. But the best part was, I was going to the gym every day of the week. My endorphins were off the charts. And during the weekend, I was doing drugs every day. So my serotonin was pumping up my brain. And I was seriously, I'm this excited. And I'm like, how fucking happy I was? I was the fucking happiest person in this planet. And I start laughing. She's just looking at me. Puts her glasses down again. She's like, writes down in her little notebook. And I'm like, fuck, that's gonna cost me like $200. And she didn't even smile. And she goes like, put my glasses down. You know, Valentina, you know that happiness is fake happiness. And I'm still laughing. So I'm like, I'm already gonna pay more. So we're like, yes, I know. And I don't care. Because what kind of fucking logic is that? My last girlfriend's boobs were fake. I still love them anyway. Like, I don't care if this is fake happiness. I'm taking that shit because I want it. And again, she's still looking at me. Like, I swear to God, straight face. I could never crack that bitch. And she's like, Then we're quiet for a minute. She's like, Valentina, I know in our last session we said, the thing about therapy is that depending on how fucked up you are, depends how close your next appointment will be. So I was really fucked up back then. I was having a weekly appointment, but the session right before this one, she was like, okay, you can come twice a month. So like one off, one yeah, right? So then she goes like, again, her little notebook. It's like, Valentina. So I know last week we discussed that you would come every other week. But I think after this session, we can both agree that I need to see you next week. And I say, yeah, that sounds about right. And so anyways, I can say we had some sessions. She was great. I passed my first world problem, my depression. And nowadays, I can say I'm truly happy. This was some years ago. And the thing is, now I can focus on my real problems again, which are using humor to deflect my emotions and this kind of shit. I think I'm just funny, but apparently that's not that's not correct. So anyways, I just wanted to make this bit maybe not as funny as others, but again, if you're going through a hard time and you need someone to talk to, don't talk to me, but talk to someone. Talk to a specialist. I suggest you don't go to an astrologist, and then you get help with the help that you need. And well, thank you all for listening. You've been wonderful tonight. And next up, we have John.